Welcome YouTube to my channel Easy Maths Guide. In this video I'm going to be teaching you how to solve differential equations and how to find stationary points on a curve. So this question comes from the June 2017 paper of the AQA Pure Core 1, and it says y equals, so this is the equation of the line, so y equals 20x minus x squared minus 2x cubed, and it's asking us to find the stationary points of that curve. So let's just start off with a graph. We have y, we have x, and obviously this is the positive, and we have negative y and negative x. So if we have a line that's a curve like that, we can see that as we travel along x, we can sort of select 2 points where we start and where we end. So say we start here and we move a change of x to here. We also have a difference in the y values, and this is our change in y, right? Because as we move through x, there's been a change in the y values. So we can have positive change in y, but as we go along x, say we take a point here and we move along x, and that's our endpoint, you can have a negative change in y. So you can have positive or negative change. Now, as a stationary point, the change in y is equal to 0. And the stationary point is basically where the curve goes back on itself. At a stationary point, the change in y is 0. Now, why is that? Well, it's because it's flat, basically. It's like if you walk up a hill, you're going uphill. When you reach the top, the ground's flat. The hill's not going up or down. It's just, there's no change in level, it's just flat ground. So in the same way, at this turning point here, y is not changing. It's not going up, it's not going down. At these points, change in y is equal to 0. The change in y is equal to 0. At a stationary point, you can say that dy by dx is also equal to 0. The change in y divided by the change in x, because the change in y equals 0, and of course 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. So let's have a look at our equation. So we know at a stationary point, dy by dx equals 0. So let's do the differential of this equation. And if we differentiate an equation, what we're basically doing is we're looking at a new way of interpreting the equation in terms of its gradient. So how do we do the differential of an equation? Well, we look at the power of x, we times that number by the number in front of the x value, and then we lower the power by 1. So 20x, you could also say that's x to the power of 1. So you have 1 times 20 is 20. Then you have your x, and the x, we lose a power, so 1 minus 1 is 0. Now x to the power of 0, well, x to the power of 0 equals 1. Just like anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So with this knowledge, 20 times 1 is 20. Now, next one, x squared. So we do 2 times 1, because there's effectively a 1 in front of the x. So that's 2, we have x, and we lower this power by 1, so we have x to the power of 1. What's x to the power of 1? Well, we know that's actually just x, so we can get rid of that. And the last one, we have 3 times 2, which is 6, and we have the x, and 3 minus 1 is 2, so that becomes 6x squared. Now, this here is what we call a quadratic. So we're able to solve this. We're able to find out what these x values are of these stationary points. Because what we can say is we know at a stationary point that dy by dx equals 0. So this dy by dx equals 0, but dy by dx also equals this. So what we can say is that this here equals 0. The whole thing equals 0. So let's find out what x is. Before I do that, I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit in many different ways. So what you can do is just times everything by -1. So obviously 0 times -1 is still going to be 0, and all of these minuses turn to plus signs. So I'm also going to put the 6x squared at the front, so 6x squared add 2x, and then minus 20, because this is actually a positive here, so minus 20 equals 0. We can also divide everything out by 2, since all of these terms are divisible by 2, so we get 3x squared add x minus 10 equals 0. Now, next thing to do is to factorise. Now, easy things to do is do your brackets first and it'll equal 0 first. So you've got the correct format, it makes it a little bit easier. So let's look at here. 3x times x equals 3x squared. So 3x times x, that's going to create our first term. And to get the rest of these, we look at this last number here. We need two numbers which, when multiplied together, make -10. So let's have a look at what we can make to get -10. So we have 5 times -2, we have -5 times +2, we have 10 times -1, and sorry, it's negative, and we have -10 times +1. Now we can see that if we use 10 in either of these, we're either going to get positive or -30, which is a lot, or we're going to get positive and -10. So it seems like it's too much. The numbers will be too high. But we can try. Let's try 5 and -2. So +5 and -2. Now we need to get positive x. So if we look here, this will make 5x, and these two make -6x, and that equals -x. So it's not quite what we want. We want positive x. So what we can do is just simply switch the operations around, and if we just try this out, so 3x times x is 3x squared, -5x add 6x equals x, and -5 times 2 equals -10. So to work out what values of x are going to be, we we need to basically find them out by saying this bracket is equal to 0 and this bracket is equal to 0. Now, why do we do that? Well, 0 times 0 equals 0. So we have x plus 2 equals 0, so that you can minus the 2 and say x equals negative 2. So that's one x value of one of the stationary points, and the other 3x minus 5 equals 0. 3x equals 5. We can divide the 3 out. X equals 5 over 3. So we've got the two x values of our stationary points. Now, how do we find the y values? Well, we have an equation of y that is written in terms of x, our original equation. So all we need to do is simply plug our x values into that equation, and that will provide us with the two y values of each of the respective x values. So let's have a look. We have y equals 20 lots of negative 2 minus negative 2 squared minus 2 lots of negative 2 cubed. So 20 times negative 2 is negative 40, and negative 2 squared is 4, and negative 4, and negative 2 cubed is negative 8, times that by negative 2 is positive 16. So what we have is negative 40, which equals negative 28. Now, for the other y value, we would probably use a calculator since we have 5 over 3. So in this, we do the same method. Y equals 20 lots of 5 over 3 minus 5 over 3 squared minus 2 lots of 5 over 3 cubed. Obviously go on to work out what the other y value would be. So that's it, guys. That's how you work out the coordinates of the stationary points of a curve. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll leave some links in the description for really useful books that you can use at A level to help you get the best grades possible. I'll catch you guys later.